Yo.
What up?
Hi.
What is up? Welcome back, everyone. TWG Fan Club, Wednesday nights. Me and my crew.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one of the best places to be on Hump Day. Hey, Matt. Welcome, everyone. So we are streaming now on Those Wrestling Girls Facebook page, YouTube channel, and Twitter Spaces. So if you're not following us on any of those other platforms, I suggest you follow us. We have expanded beautifully Those Wrestling Girls into somewhat of a network, and that would not be possible without the wonderful people that are on the stream right now and the wonderful hard work that you guys put in to TWG. We now go live 4 to 5 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Rakasha. You know, it's not possible without Justin and Brian H. Waters, and of course my sis Krista B, and everyone that is a part of TWG Network. Seindole live on Tuesdays. You could catch us here on Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays. Then you got schooling sessions on Fridays. It's so much. And we will be in Cleveland, Those Wrestling Girls, for SummerSlam weekend. And there's going to be so much happening. So subscribe and follow Those Wrestling Girls, on everything, so that you can keep up with everything that is going on. I also want to thank everyone that tuned in Monday night to the first live, real live episode of Pop Culture Live, which was so fun. I'm still on a high from it because it was really a fun time. And that's exactly what I wanted it to be. And I wanted it to be like a kind of a release every week. Like, you know, if I have a hard day at work, if you have a hard day at work, I want you to be able to kiki with me on a Monday night before Raw and talk about all the fun stuff that's happening in the wrestling world right now, because it is fun and our wrestlers are everywhere. Wrestling is everywhere. So make sure you tune in with me Monday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern on all Those Wrestling Girls channels. I'm going to bring up my sis who is here, Miss Seindole B. Hello, beautiful. Hey.
We had to smuggle her into the club.
we open the back door like, come, hurry up.
He's like, here she is pulling a Lauryn Hill.
Oh, we're going to give her more than Lauryn Hill.
No, right? Trying to play me. We was just don't do that. We was just homie.
Yo. Oh, yeah. I was tuning into the watch along, which was good because I couldn't watch AEW at the time. So, yeah, I was really keeping me. I mean, not AEW, I'm sorry, NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I still see those face.
Is this another watch along that we don't know about?
No, NXT.
Right?
It's like Pete done traversed into a different multiverse.
I ain't doing no after dark.
No, but it was fun. Y'all kept me up to date, so I appreciate that. So that's Tuesday nights, everyone. Hey, Dylan.
Not every episode is a watch party. Just the next 2 weeks, because we are heading into the Great American Bash. No backstage cookouts confirmed yet, but already 3 banging matches going on. So tune into that.
Backstage cookout
for us.
Yeah, remember how I remember on
I used to love
SmackDown when it was on
those.
Sci-Fi, they used to do the cookouts, and Justin said we was trying to figure out who would bring the craisins and the macaroni.
Craisins.
Yeah, who would put raisins in the potato salad.
Alexis
and
King pulling up with mayonnaise because he don't know any of the dishes.
Not
Yeah.
mayonnaise.
I mean, he did go to the barbershop. You know, first he knew the people to hit up. When he first signed with NXT, he hit up Trick and Mello. So that's the reason why his shape up is the way it is.
That's hilarious.
I'm gonna let him have that. I'm gonna let you live.
Mhm.
But I do appreciate everybody that tuned in on Monday because it's a lot happening, and we're like a week and a half away from SummerSlam, which I can't even think about because I get like so overwhelmed. But it's next weekend. And yes, Rakasha has all the love. But
it's
yeah,
really
it's
great
a
job,
lot.
Siendo. I'm just shenanigans. You know what you get out
We
of
love
me.
the shenanigans.
I am anarchy and chaos. I am the fucking Joker of the wrestling industry.
The Joker.
I have to shenana if I'm supposed to shenana, believe I'm going to shenanigan, you know? Like, I just need somebody to shenanigan with. Just saying.
Hey, Andre. Wow, the VIP is already trickling into the fan club tonight. I love that for us.
You know it.
So tonight we are getting into wrestling storylines that have a romantic angle. So it's hot right now because I'm enjoying it. I cannot wait until we dive in later on your thoughts on the RHEA, Liv, Dom storyline, how Jey Uso fits into all of that. You know, the controversy with Rikishi and his thoughts on it, and just in general. And I know that it's just being on wrestling Twitter, I know there's a lot of strong opinions about romance angles in wrestling because they could get real quick.
Real quick, how many times have y'all opened the app and seen Liv's ass cheeks today? Like just a question. Like every time I open X, I keep seeing her.
It really is. It's Liv's ass and it's Lickmageddon with Rhea licking Dom's face. It's like, pick one. Are we Lickmageddon or are we ass-tastic?
Daisy Dukes has been her daisies hanging out, her Daisy Dukes like the whole day, to the point where I didn't get back on X for like the last 2 hours. I'm like, I'm done. I'm tired.
Hey, Siendo, we gotta show love to the starter peach.
It makes me want to squat a little bit more, but at the same time, it's like, I'm good. I don't need to. Not all the time. Let me get a break. Like Nia Jax.
I'm envious. I'm envious. I don't
no
see
breaks.
her ass
you getting these cakes.
my feed.
The yeeks are on fleek, and you were getting them 24/7.
I don't either, but the algorithm be algorithm.
I guess my algorithm don't like me because I'm not seeing.
Oh, my algorithm hates me. I was like, you know how many times I've muted J-Lo and she still pops up like a fucking unicorn?
I feel like mute at this point is a joke. You know, I've muted so many things and I still fucking see them shits all over my feed. Help me.
I just mute the people. Like,
I tried that so bad. And they
I've done that.
Retweet or tweet of a tweet, and I'm like, come on, bro.
I still get Kardashian Jenners. It's like, I've muted this shit since like 5 years ago. Why am I looking at any of them?
Sus. It's all sus. The mute button is fucking sus. X is sus.
True.
Oh, yeah.
X been sus since they changed to X.
I've been looking at them like, what y'all trying to hide up in here? Why can't I see? Why can't I see what people are liking?
That's weird. That's suspicious.
That's weird.
So I can't send gifts, but I can watch porn on X.
That's wild. That is fucking wild.
But we doing Elon.
Nah, I see what's happening here. But I cannot wait to get into somebody because I've been looking up some, because there have been so many of these that I've been like looking and I'm like, oh, there's so many that we could talk about. But before that, since we do have SummerSlam next week and things have been kind of hot, real quick, what have been some of your favorite things happening in wrestling right now?
Seth Rollins coming to fuck shit up in a fashionable statement.
Okay, let's talk about it.
You talking about Daisy Dukes. If Seth Rollins goes out there to referee that match and fucking Daisy Dukes, I am gonna lose it.
He should. Can we talk about that mint green though? Like, can we talk about it?
I need him to come out in the most velour Prince pants with that referee. I need somebody to find the most velvety of
the way King Troy is gonna fucking slay them stripes.
And I know don't be surprised you see some
I cannot wait.
That's when you know you're a star designer. When we just know. We ain't even gotta think about it. We just know.
So excited.
Yo, what if he had like a ref shirt and then like assless chaps? Just to fuck with people.
I can. Oh wow. I mean, that's fashion, I guess. On a Prince shit.
You said Prince. It's like boom, Prince. Let's go there then.
Yeah, I'm with it.
He is kind of like, he does give like Prince-esque vibes.
Imagine Seth Rollins like refereeing in some Ferragamos. I'm just saying, because that's Seth at this point. Like,
that is very Seth.
Some custom Ferragamos. He ain't doing it in Louboutin. I'm too slippery. But some Ferragamo. Put it in.
Yeah.
I'll say for me, it's a lot of stuff, but I'm gonna go outside the box with this one. Last night on NXT, seeing Trick Williams trying to get his title back, with Cedric,
yes,
that got a little spicy, especially with the news of like Lashley and MVP no longer on the internal roster. So then you look at that, and then all of a sudden, Cedric's on TV. You got Ashanti, who's has a lot of personality, and I think they finally found something for him. And one thing about Trick Williams, like, don't let the nice smile, the great welcoming personality, whether it's on TV or behind the scenes, fool you. When he wanted that smoke, when he said, "Yeah, last time you was by yourself, hit row," I was like,
"Oh, he really went there."
So I'm very, very excited about that. I got to go back on Those Wrestling Girls YouTube channel to watch that part, because I watched NXT. I didn't watch it live, right? So I got to go back and get Justin and Seindol's instant reactions to everything, because I know when
I was trying to pay attention to Justin, but I was also trying to pay attention to the show because they were cooking each other on a mic. Cedric period, and I was like, my brother's here, but brother is here. Shout out to his wife, she's awesome. But he was there live in person, and then we finally got to see the match that we've been predicting to see, which is Javon Evans and Wesley having some type of interaction, because that's the marathon that I was really trying to run.
We're talking about things heating up. We talk about things heating up this summer. Can we talk about Bayley circling back, pulling her own Kendrick Lamar, and like, yo, I didn't forget about this shit. I got receipts. Naya, you think I'm through with you? I remember 2017 where you fucking separated my shoulder, and I had to miss that SummerSlam because of that. That's how we got Sasha Banks and Alexa. I was supposed to have my redemption for that Bayley, This Is Your Life, and the Kendall Stick on the pole match, and you kind of fucked that up. So let's rewind 6 years forward. I still want that lick back.
I love when they go back. Like,
me too. I love it. Because fans remember.
Absolutely. It's one of those things, like, growing up, you sit back and watch stuff, and you would only get it if it was like a super significance, but sometimes people may not remember. So for those who don't, let's not act like they never wrestled or never touched before. So that's a great point.
I agree.
That's true.
What else? Oh my God, like, I'm just, I wanted to cry when I watched Bo Dallas hit that. That was
gonna be what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say.
I was like,
there you are.
I might have like, cause like I'm a thug, so like I might have shed a thug tear a little bit, but seeing it, like,
you a thug? What, you shot Tupac? Don't answer that.
But watching was like so like, oh my God, because you didn't see it coming, and it's just like, oh my God, this is like amazing.
I don't like Nikki Cross gets to be herself.
Yes, hey
like,
Letty.
Everybody to be themselves in this fix, and Chad Gable was just like, listen, I done got rid of the dweebs. I got this beefed up security now because the Creed brothers rocking with me. But nah, you still got because that's what you get.
He is something else. Like, he really deserves it. Then he trying to make it seem like he the only one that they want. Nah. Like, oh no, you it. That's it. Don't try to loop them in with you. Like, you're the only one that's in danger. You're the only one that's been getting attacked because you deserve it.
Anybody else?
Molly, you in danger, girl.
You in danger, girl. We were into the LA Knight US Championship parade because that's what I think.
Oh, the Colonizer Championship.
I'm here for it. The Colonizer
Championship. Yes, I said it, Logan Paul. We will not claim you as Puerto Rico as much as you live there. Fuck that shit.
We were in cat boots.
Wait, he be trying to claim that?
No,
wait, Logan Paul be trying to claim Puerto Rico?
Yeah, because you never hear his entry when they be like he'd be like first he's
from Puerto Rico by way of Ohio. And it's like nah, you ain't slick.
And I'd be like, what the fuck is happening right now?
You not like us. You not like us. You not like us, motherfucker.
everybody wanna have a little bit of flavor. Like, if you not it, you not
his
it,
flavor is unseasoned. No, take that somewhere else with Lexus King.
Yo, what the Lexus King do?
With the raisins and potato salad.
Yes, Andre, that shit is karma. All right, so okay, do we all say what we're feeling right now in wrestling?
Yeah, because I think everything else is gonna come up in the show for me.
Yeah. It is because that's
One more thing, last thing. Shout out to Carmen Petrovich for coming at Pat McAfee's goofy ass co-host when they were talking about the reason they made themselves DC packs was because there's nobody in NXT worth packing. You don't like them, that's fine, but you're weird. Watch your mouth. And proud of her because she wasn't afraid of nobody. She said, I said what I said. And put some respect on NXT.
Yeah.
I mean, that
she learned from the GOAT.
Yep.
Because that part. Speak up. We speak up.
That part.
Yeah, bad enough we got to deal with DLC, but that's a different rant about video games. But I'm glad she said something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was like, who the hell are these two? Like, I go.
Well, they used to be football players, but football players wear helmets, so most people don't know their faces.
Yeah, I mean,
hey man, that's the CTE talking.
A couple of times,
We wouldn't know who Pat McAfee was if he wasn't, if it wasn't for like personality.
Pat McAfee is special. That's why.
Yeah.
You know how special you have to be for us to remember punters? Like we don't remember fucking punters.
Except shout out to Ray Guy, black punter. But you're right.
Literally the only other one.
But I think I'm done.
Marquette King.
I mean, Ray Guy is in the Hall of Fame. That's where it's like it's a population one.
Marquette King. But you're right. Nobody remembers punters. My god brother, when I said one time, I forgot about this. Like I wanted to play football, and I was like, "Yeah, I want to kick." And the older one literally said, "Do you know what we do to kickers? If you play football, you are not kicking." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Wait, what?
I don't know. He just told me like, I guess nobody respected kickers. I just
because they like the ones that be getting out there like rumbling, tumbling, probably.
Yeah, right. Unless you Justin Tucker, where you actually winning games from 60 yards out.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's like football wise, and it's like, nah, you a fucking basketball wife. Get out of here. You don't belong here.
Basketball wife.
Shoo, Tammy Roman. Shoo.
They have more respect for basketball wives than kickers and punters.
And McAfee is special because he is getting that bag. So
right, exactly.
Good for him.
Gotta say you a motherfucking back the bit.
Right, like man, this is
this is how you can tell it's summertime because we just turn up the heat on everybody. Everyone just catching shots.
All right, let's touch on this very quickly. Our NXT queen. Can we talk about Roxanne May lose? I said, thoughts.
But before the year out, I could see it, but not right away. I would love to see her get wins over both of them. Yes, I'm a mark for Roxanne Perez. I think she's a future PLE main eventer. I'll say PLE main eventer. because she's showing that she has tons and tons of personality, and she's gotten over like, oh, I'm happy to be here because I'm finally a wrestler. Like, she goes out there with a chip on her shoulder, and I think because of that, she's going to go after those ladies. Now, will she lose the title before the year is out to one of them? Maybe so, but I think she'll get a good win beforehand, or one of them disqualifications. But I think, I don't think she just lose it right away.
What Brian said.
Okay.
I mean, she's had a good couple of wins already, so even if she does lose the title, I'm like, man, what a stellar run. The run she should have had in the first place before she got knocked out. Like, think about it, her hardest match was Mino Satomura. She went up against two of her hardest matches just now. So, like, even if she does lose to either one of them, which I don't think is going to be either one of them, I don't think they would disrespect her by taking, of course, your two most hype signees and just, okay, Roxanne, here you go. We got shiny toys now. I think it's going to be somebody. I think it's somebody who's going to be deserving of it at the time. I think they're going to give Roxanne that grace of letting her pick her person, because like Becky's gotten to do it. I mean, Lyra had no choice, but a lot of people have gotten to choosing who they've given their title to. I think they're going to give Roxanne that respect. They should. I mean, whether it be her best friend or somebody else who's just as talented as her, I think that's the way. And then that person will probably lose it to, the one of the new unholy trinity, since Delta and Stephanie and Julia, they're the new unholy trinity in my opinion. So I think it's going to be that scenario. I don't think they should do that to Roxanne. I think it would be highly unfair. I think it would kind of, not even a slap in the face. I really just think, like, I match it up with what Brian said. Like, she's had great matches under her belt. She's not disappointing me. Her ability to change character has made that title even more important, and she's meant to make it important to her. So, like, as much as we're all worried and stuff like that, like, I'm hyped too, but like, let's be respectful of the person who's making that championship relevant right now, and it's Roxanne.
Valid. And that's why you should tune in on Tuesdays, because I wasn't even thinking that in depth, but it also makes me hyped to see which direction they go with that, because these are like stars and it can go a lot of ways. So shall we take a quick break and then we get into some wrestling storylines? We can get the big elephant in the room out of the way, because it is like definitely something I am like tuned all the way in for. So let's take a break and we'll talk about wrestling storylines with romantic angles and sometimes when they go too far. What's That Gun? And we talk about these celebrities that are huge wrestling fans. What's That Gun is probably the biggest wrestling fan in hip hop. I have to say that now, because he literally put wrestling on his back. So Heels Have Eyes. So Heels Have Eyes 2 will be in Cleveland. And the tagline on Instagram is, for the love of wrestling through the lens of art, fashion, and music. Everything that we love all wrapped in one. You guys remember this wet tank that Liv Morgan was wearing last week on Raw? Looked like a wet white beater with like her bra on the bottom. It's actually a custom-made structured garment. By Starcat. Okay, pause. Look at this suit in that deep purple. And these are one of those occasions where like the whole look works, because even I feel like the beard even goes with the look. Like,
you go, girl.
yay, that was so much fun.
I really enjoyed that episode.
Thank you.
The music is a bop too. I was sitting here like, hey.
It's so hard, and I know you went through it too, like everyone in the crew, like choosing like music or like that type of stuff can take so long that you think it's gonna be an easy thing, like, oh, you'll just hear it and it'll click, and then you're like, no, and you're scrolling like what feels right. So I'm glad you think it's a bop, Justin, because I really respect your music opinion. So
yeah, music can be something, especially for like podcasts when you're trying to come up with an intro or a segment.
Right.
And you gotta, it's one of those things where you just, at that time, you just gotta do it, grab it, and move forward, or else you can literally spend the whole day
Literally a whole day.
This
Like,
is
not
literally
even
one
joking.
of many lists I have for different social media stuff, YouTube
Oh
stuff,
my
do
god!
this and that.
Jesus.
This is just
Have
one
you
of
guys
many.
seen? Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I'm lucky to have a brother who's just like, listen, I have beats, pick a song, but then he
Oh, you
decides to give me a whole
I know that was a
lucky.
channel.
You
flex.
live with a producer.
No,
Nah. You live with a
no,
musician.
you
That's
don't
not fair.
understand. It's because before I went with this new intro, and he was like, "Why are you using this crummy ass StreamYard music?" Which shout out to StreamYard because it wasn't actually that bad. I was like, "Let me just pick a song," and he was like, "All right, do this one." I'm like, "No, that's too depressing. No, pick this one." I said, "That's too corny." He's like, "All right, well, you need to pick one, or else you need to find somewhere else." And I'm just like, you know what? Let me just settle on the one I would have used.
Oh,
That's me.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
reload on the
spat.
beat, girl.
Yeah, we spat. So when we came up with that one, it was like, okay, I had to feel it. Like everybody makes that joke that Kanye West literally will remix a song 10 times before he finally puts it out. I felt that. I felt him in that moment. I'm like, no, it's too sharp. No, it's too high. It's too uppity. It's too slow. Like, why does this sound like goth music? So it takes a lot. And plus, y'all have seen my timeline when I get ready for Watch Happens at NXT. I do a
Bro,
lot.
even our
Nobody
theme
gets
song for
it.
Fan Club, like that was like I would have like
I
hundreds
love
of
it.
beats
You're
before I
killing
settled
it.
on that. I was like, nah, this is fucking like, I keep coming
And
back
I'm
to
trying to
this.
put
This
a
is
video
it.
together. And I'm trying to put a video together now, and I give up every day. I'm like, fuck this. And I'm just like, we end up right back at square one with me and my smiling face on the front. And I'm like, this is harder than it looks. Like, shout out to everybody who does it on their own. It's not that easy. I give them all the flowers.
It's really not. Yeah, you do a very good job because it's really not easy. And I was even saying to Brian tonight, like, I'm like, can I stream twice a week and then record with Krista in a couple days? Like, that's a lot. And it's just like, it is what it is. And it's like, this shit ain't easy.
It's not. Which is
It's
why you haven't
a
seen
lot
me do YouTubes recently. Because, like, you know what I like? Sleep. You know what was hard? Editing. And then staying up at like 3, 4 in the morning to get that shit on the YouTube and make sure that shit gets uploaded properly and make sure, no, this is not copyright. I have the contracts. We're good with the music and this and that.
That's the worst part. And then, literally, Brian was here with my first episode. Like, shout out to him for being my producer for the day. And I was like, I feel like I'm choking myself. Like, I feel like I'm failing. I'm flailing all over the place. Like, I was like in scutters. There were so many things I had written down that I didn't say. And over time, it was like practically perfect. And I'd be cursing and laughing at myself on the camera like it's just me having a conversation. But it is not easy. Like, I give you guys flowers after that because I'm just like, how the hell do they do this every week? And you guys are doing live shows at this time, and I'm like, this is a lot. But I give you guys your flowers because now I feel confident to do it.
Yeah, and you have what it takes to do it. And I think having all of our like VIPs in the chat also help because you could always like rely on them to kind of, because you're really just having conversations with friends. And that's how I look at Rakarsha and Andre and everybody that tunes in with us. But there was one, so I do want to get into some of these wrestling storylines. Do they go too far? And the reason why I wanted to talk about that was because Rikishi, who we all know, Hall of Fame wrestler, right? Yeah. And father of the Usos, a part of the bloodline, literally. And he's done a lot in wrestling, and he has a podcast because every wrestler has a podcast, of course. So he has not been happy about the direction of Jey Uso's character. There's a couple of episodes where he talked about how he should have won Money in the Bank, how he should be a world champion because of how over he is. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he has not been happy with it. And I haven't thought that much into Jey Uso's character, just off the simple fact that I love Jey Uso and I'm happy to see him on TV featured so much. I love seeing how much the crowd reacts to him. I do think the Yeet merch is getting a little excessive, but shit, be on your John Cena shit. If people are buying it, fucking make it. Put Yeet on anything and make that money.
Now that I think about it, I've never seen so much powder blue, dark blue, white merch on any superstar than Jey Uso. Not that I don't like it because I'm biased. Blue is my favorite color, but you're right. It gets excessive when we start having shades with like YEET going across, which I understand it's marketing. The kids are buying it, but it's just like I didn't realize how much Yeet merch we literally that's going on.
Put yeek on the back of
It's
shorts.
so much. They
Yeek
just
cheeks.
put
To the point
yeet
where we blurred
on
it.
everything.
To the point where we blurred it.
No, I'm
because
surprised they haven't done that yet.
Put yeet on paper. Yeet sheets.
And then we had no yeet.
You could put literally on
You
anything.
can put. You said
and
put
make
yeet
that
on anything.
money.
It works.
You can. You absolutely can. Like I promise you. And it's for letters. Like it works. But also make that bag. But the RHEA shit to me.
Let's talk about it.
I don't think long term. I think that we're in like WWE right now is in a booking stage where they're just trying to build strong characters. So my thing is whatever Jey Uso's doing right now with RHEA is going to hit. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be an entertaining show for what it is that week. That doesn't mean that he needs to be doing this a month from now. That doesn't mean that this is going to be his angle forever. Like, let us have a little bit of fun. He could be a small little part of the storyline just because booking is a little bit different right now. So he's hot right now. Let's dabble him into the hottest storyline for a couple, few weeks and see what happens. I don't think that this has any reflection on the direction they want him to go. I think if anything, it reflects on how highly they think of Jey Uso right now because they want him to be a part of everything that's hot. And we want to see him. Let's be real. We want to see Jey Uso.
Mm-hmm.
And what Rikishi needs to understand is this is a different regime. This is not the Vince McMahon regime where everything can change hour to hour, minute to minute, week to week, depending on what side of bed Vince gets out of. Where you could just call an audible and all your main event plans get changed at the last second to insert something.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is Triple H. This has been something that Hunter's been doing since the Black and Gold, where he's more into long-term stories, where we're building towards something. We're going to give it a couple of months. That way, when we get to that climax, it actually means something. And he doesn't audible unless he's absolutely forced to, whether it's someone getting injured or some scandal or someone getting released or some shit like that. Like he builds long-term.
Mm-hmm.
So long-term, we've been building towards Damian Priest and Gunther eventually getting that title in the main event picture. You've also been building towards Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and inserting Seth Rollins, who has beef with both of them. So where does Jey Uso really fit in that main event scene? Him getting the Money in the Bank briefcase wouldn't have made sense because it's like, do you really see him being champion right now? And the answer is no. Do you see him being champion in the next 3 to 6 months? The answer is still no. And we just went through a super long Money in the Bank holder in Damian Priest. Let's not forget, he held that Money in the Briefcase for 9 months. Were you ready for Jey Uso to hold it another 9 months if you didn't see him becoming champion? When you really see Gunther's going to be champion, at some point, Punk may get that title off of Gunther. That way we get Seth and CM Punk at WrestleMania, maybe for the title, maybe without the title. And at some point, Jey is going to be fine because I see him getting that IC title at some point. And at the moment, he has history with RHEA. He's had history with Judgment Day. It's temporary. It's not going to be a permanent situation. But because he's so hot right now, you do have to put him on TV and make it mean something. That doesn't mean it's only going to be like, oh, he's stuck with RHEA in this love angle. It's like, no, let it play out.
Right.
One thing, I like the comment from, I believe it was the Jonathan Lyman brand. I might have said that wrong. Because I understand what they are saying. However, the history, one of the things I think when you look at Jey Uso versus a Rusev a few years ago, Jey Uso and the Bloodline, just everybody, from a shoot standpoint, they picking their shots. So if there was an issue, I don't think we have to worry about that, They're calling their shots. They saying, look, no, we doing this, we doing that, because at the end of the day, the Usos and the Bloodline and Roman and Solo, they've been merchandise movers, ratings movers. So I think it's fine. I understand the history of families being broken up in wrestling, but I don't think that's an issue here. I don't see Jey Uso doing something he's uncomfortable with.
Right. I agree.
And
Can we go ahead, Seindole?
and I just think that I think, let's be real, what I didn't like about what he has to say about the booking, obviously I get his frustration, that's his son. But like, you not also appreciating the fact that your sons had a like history grudge match at WrestleMania, which one of them won. Literally was a part of the biggest, got to be an integral in the biggest event of WrestleMania. They've had the best years post pandemic as tag team champions, unified tag team champions. They've main evented WrestleMania in Los Angeles. In the person you're talking about, you're not happy that he won Money in the Bank. I get that, but he also got to main event a SummerSlam. We're coming off a year of that. I think to say that you're not happy because of the current, you're diminishing everything that's already happened. And I get that you want the best. Like, come on, I think he wants the best for his kid, but also like y'all like y'all like family. If you want to put on your sumo outfit and have one more match again, just say that. Like if you just want to stink face, like they need
out.
that. Like, but at the same time, I get his
Yeah.
son, but I just didn't like how it diminished everything. Like, because them boys are fine, in my opinion. Them boys
Yes.
are doing fine. There's more to come.
Yeah.
It's not like they have career defining ending injuries. God forbid, knock on steel. Like, it's not like there's anything wrong with them. They're in their prime still. Jimmy, we haven't seen Jimmy yet. Jimmy might be involved some way, somehow in the next few days. There's a brand new bloodline.
Right.
Your son is literally taking over what his cousin was doing on a brand with the help of others, and you should be looking at that instead of how your son's book. But again, he's a parent, he's gonna be concerned.
Yep.
Leave it at that. Again, if you wanna
True.
do the too cool dance, just say that. Talk to your
Stop
boys.
armchair booking.
Unless, right.
Yeah.
And that part, and everyone's going to have their opinion. Like, we're literally on the stream having an opinion about storylines. Like, I get that. But like you said, you know, Jey Uso is fine. And let's think about the people that's involved. DOMINIK Mysterio just got married not too long ago. RHEA Ripley, you could pretty much call her a newlywed. You know, we don't know Liv Morgan's situation, but these are all like wrestlers. And I have a when it comes to people that grew up in wrestling families, like the Mysterio, like Dom, for example, he's literally known for like a paternity angle. You know, so it's I look at it as these are characters, these are actors that go to, because I have to think about it, especially when you got Liv Morgan like straddling him sometimes, RHEA Ripley licking his face, and I can't help but wonder, like, well, how does his wife feel about this? I can't help but wonder that, but I would think about it as an actor playing a role, and I promise you, we're gonna get this money.
I just think everybody's having fun.
It's gonna be hot.
It looks like everybody's having fun.
It's acting.
In
like when you watch Monsters Ball, do you really think Billy Bob Thornton and Halle Berry were actually fucking?
Oh my
no,
god!
In that movie,
acting.
Yeah.
It's close, but it's not. Otherwise, I would have got NC-17. But it's acting. That's what they do. That's what they get paid to do. And I think that's where Jay had conversations with his wife behind closed doors before doing stuff like this. The same way Dom's had conversations with his newlywed, and Rhea and Buddy are both in the business. Liv is living her single life at the moment. I don't know if that's changed yet since her last interview where she made that public, but
just she was single.
But even then, when she was in a relationship, she was in a relationship with someone in the business, and they probably had those conversations.
Right, exactly.
I just think everybody's going to end up like Mr. Chick Magnet, who I think everybody's going to end up like the Chick Magnet story, which that's a once in a lifetime blow end. Like, not everybody's going to marry the person they had on screen relations with, and I think that's what everyone's concern is. And I think everybody just needs to kind of like be in the reality of, and also you should be more concerned about how the road is treating the family more than the storyline is. Because like, if you hear all these past wrestlers,
that is such a good
it's
point.
not who they're with on the road. Like, if of course we're gonna talk about the Shawn Michaels. We already hear the Shawn Michaels and Sonny of it all, but you need to be concerned about the fact that if you can't handle that your partner is on the road for 325 days out of the year, and 4 of those times being out, and most of those times being out of the country now, I think that should be the concern more than who they're fake straddling on TV with. Let's be real. I think everybody that's involved is secure.
I think so too. And let's be real, like it has happened. Like we've seen it happen where people got their spouses, their romantic relationships turn into other, storylines can turn into other things. So I can see like where wrestling fans will want to jump to those conclusions, but also like let's let things play out because it really is just entertainment at the end of the day. So I'm enjoying this. I like where it went with Liv Morgan crying and Dom saying what he said because I don't believe him.
I don't think he was talking to her. I keep telling y'all the way he was talking in Spanish with his whole chest. First of all, Miguel says when you say those things in Spanish, you not angry at somebody.
You feeling emotion.
Wait, so, okay, can somebody translate, please?
What did he call her? Well, Miguel said he said something along.
He called her crazy and like a couple other stuff, but you could tell like it's one of those like I'm performative, like I'm saying it, but I don't really feel it. Especially where like as a wise man once said, Tony Montana, the eyes never lie, Chico. He's leaving the ring with Rhea, but he keeps looking back at Liv. And that's telling you something where it's like, yeah, that PS5 hit home. Them chicken tendies, them unlimited tendies hit home.
Them had to be premium. They weren't catered chicken tendies, honey. She found the chicken tenders in whatever city they were at. And she said, I want them delivered hot. And he got them chicken tendies because he was folding then. And then the whole stretching thing.
Funny.
Like, you know how you feel about them. And then mommy never gave him a stretch.
No, mommy would put him to sleep. Literally, even right there in the ring, what did mommy do? Yank him by his hair before she licked him and bit him. Whereas like, see, Liv is nice and caring and caressing, and mommy's very rough and aggressive and like, I will beat your ass up like right here. And it's like, this is how you say hi?
He's getting the best of both worlds, if we're being honest.
That's why he's smiling so hard.
And then if you be real with it, right? Y'all are worried about how too far they've gone. All of them went to Dominik's wedding. You really think that if he was offended, people be going to weddings? Get the fuck out of here.
Not to mention, if you think this is far, wait till you get to the list that we got, where they actually went there.
Where they went there, child.
Shall we get into it?
Yes, let's go there, because we want to bring up... Can I bring up one?
Yes, please.
Because the one, if you're going to bring up a Liv Morgan angle, where it's like, oh, this went far, can we rewind back to Bobby Lashley and Lana and this entire cuckold angle that they ran in front of Lana's fucking husband, where Rusev had to sit in the ring and look like, yo, so you're just gonna tongue down my wife and grab her at the ramp for minutes, not just like, oh, it was a quickie. No, Bobby was like, nah, 1 sec, I'm not done yet. And then they go crazy to where Randy Orton and Kevin Owens are right at the side just going like, hey, yo, do you need a Magnum right now? Because it looks like y'all about to get this on. And this lasted for weeks, where Lana was having this affair with Bobby Lashley. And then they had a fucking wedding angle where they were about to get married. And then Liv Morgan comes out and runs this lesbian angle with Lana because now she has feelings. And now they have this thing where they're about to make out. And it's just like, yeah, this actually happened. And this was happening in front of fucking Rusev, by the way. Like, Rusev had to sit there and be like,
Ashley's wife.
Even when Rock came back and pulled up, was like, yeah, I heard things about you, Lana. It was like, hey, yo, really? We're doing this?
Oh.
It was wild. But I didn't look at it as crazy just on the fact that Lana's also an actress.
Right.
And if this was a Hollywood film and they had to do that, she would have to do that with probably like Batista or some shit. Sorry, he's the first movie star that came into my mind.
So, you know why?
So that's how I kind of look at it. But it also is, I can imagine how wildly uncomfortable that would be, because I don't know if I would be able to be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is cute. Yeah, no, this is crazy.
So, you know why I roll my eyes at that whole thing? People love to remember that she like cockhold her husband and went out with Rusev and went out with Bobby because he's a big black man. But it's kind of licked because Rusev went and fired his wife when he's manager, and then decided to get Ray to replace her and had somebody with a lot of ads and just let it come in and save the day, Dolph Ziggler, and that whole thing happened. So really, what it is people just need to stay the fuck out of Lana and Rusev's business. That's how I saw it, because there's like too many people interviewing that shit. Way too many people were interviewing that relationship and beginning with that. So when Lana started doing that, I was like, sis remembers. Remember. She's the North. Because she remembered what Rusev did to her by hiring Summer Rae.
And the only reason we don't remember that vividly is because when that angle was supposed to really go somewhere, that's when TMZ broke the news of Lana and Rusev's engagement.
Right.
And he also had that name, put the kibosh on the entire storyline completely and blamed Lana for it.
But he also put them on Total Divas.
That's when shit gets messy. Speaking of,
this was extreme.
Yo,
like,
that photo of Rusev laying there while they're making out basically on top, bro, that's some Game of Thrones shit.
That is wild
in the world.
That is wild. I think being in a bed together is so like unnecessary.
So, I look at that and I think of like sexual. Remember when Mark Henry was what was he in bed with? Was he in bed with Mae Young?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yo, that is what it's giving. Poor thing. Like when you think about just where everyone ended up, because you want to think like, oh, like it's worth it. I was just watching a Table for Three with Kane,
Bret
Hart, and
Jerry Lawler.
Yes, and they were talking about all of the characters that Kane had before he was Kane. Yeah. And how it's like you just show up to work and you give everything you can to these characters and you hope it works out. And it did work out for Kane. I don't think it worked out how would you would want with this type of storyline, especially being that it didn't really work out for even that marriage. I don't know. I don't think that had anything to do with it, but it does make you think about it.
Yeah, it's giving Mr. and Mrs. Smith energy with Brad Pitt, Jennifer Aniston, and Angelina Jolie.
I think
if you remember, you remember.
I think at the time too, people, and I don't know if it was just me, but after seeing so much of what happened previously, people were kind of just over stuff like that. Yeah. Like people were like on the graciousness of their women, like the Sashas and the whole Four Horsemen and Trinities and the Taminas and the Nia Jaxes and the Alexa Bliss is doing so well as talented women. And you have people like Lana who decide to screw her husband by screwing someone else right in front of him. It kind of felt like a step back in that timeline, right? And then you think of like Total Divas, we get a backstage at it. We got to see Lana in like a different light. Like she was serious. She wanted to wrestle. She went to bat. She got into a full blown explosive argument in front of Carmelo with Nia Jax, who wasn't taking her seriously and was like, I will train every day. I'll do this. I'll do that. I will literally make you believe I'm the best wrestler. I can win the championship. And then we're right back at square one because you're making out with a big hunky man in front of your big hunky husband. That's where I think a lot of people felt like it was weird, because it was like, wait, do you want us to like Lana as like our next Kelly Kelly? Do you want us to like her as she grows like the next big like good wrestler, like how divas were? Or is she just here to be like a slutty ballet Sunny? Like what do we want from her?
And that's the thing.
I just think it was a lot. So like with that, and then I think that's what it was. In my opinion, that's what I felt about it.
Can I just say, I think what makes a good romance storyline work is commit. Like you have to commit to it. It has to make sense. Like you said, Seindole, like Lana's character in general felt all over the place up until that point.
Right.
Bobby's character up until that point felt like I didn't really know what to do with him. So it came, and then Liv Morgan coming off of the Riot Squad, like it's like, okay, y'all ain't know what to do with her, and y'all just cooked up this, wild shit. But then you look at other romance storylines, because they do have a place in wrestling, because that's a scenario that we can all relate to as human beings. We've all can relate to that, but there's some that work, like Mandy and Otis. That was like so well done. And let's say that it had gotten a little like, not all romance angles get to that point of like making out and stuff. Like Mandy and Otis, we all loved it. I mean, I don't know, I feel like they could have ended it a little better, but I look back on that one fondly. Like, what do you guys think?
It was the victim of the pandemic, I think. Because Otis was supposed to have one of those WrestleMania moments that goes into the WrestleMania montage. Like when him and Mandy finally kiss, Raymond James Stadium, where there was scheduled to be at, would have popped. It was like building up to, we was all waiting for it, and even the Thunderdome would have popped, quote unquote. But unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. But I loved it because it did show that the heavyset guy could get the pretty girl, and Otis is a nice guy, so I love that story. And then also you figure like you threw somebody like Dolph Ziggler in there, right? Who was, dare say, like, of course you should pick Dolph over him. And I remember, like, if y'all remember, Enzo Amore said he wanted to do something like that with Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss, and he wanted to take it so far that he was going to have so much heat that people was going to hate him. So that was going to make Nia's win even bigger. But it was like, well, no, we're not going to give you that. But it's kind of like they gave that to Otis, because I also remember like Sonya Deville getting involved, and that was like her reasoning for turning on Mandy. So I like the story a lot.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. I forgot about
it. Match, wasn't it?
Huh?
Wasn't that the WrestleMania match? It was Sonya Deville versus Mandy Rose.
Was it a mixed tag?
I don't think it was Mania. I think that came later, because I think it was closer to Thunderdome. Really?
That was Mania. That was how everything ended. It was that. That was the main match between the both of them. It was between Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, and it was kind of like the end of their friendship. Because remember, it was just after the moment where Otis had stepped in to save Mandy so many times, and that's why I was like, it's gonna work, because the crowd popped when he showed up, and he kind of like rose from under the ring, and he kind of saved her from hitting the floor, and he couldn't save them both, and then it started getting weird, because Sonya was like, why are you so into him, blah blah blah, like, I've been for you, and it just turned out to be this jealousy thing. And I agree with Brian, because it would have popped if it was in the stadium. It would have worked.
It would have. Everyone was very invested in that storyline. Can you guys think of any other romance angles like that had people that invested in it and just genuinely loved like everything about it?
Well, at first, Matt and Lita.
I'm gonna say China and Eddie. Oh, all right. Well, we gonna go there. Let's go there. I see people mentioning it in the comments. Let's get into it, shall we?
Talk about messy.
When they first got together, and this is like, because Lita was with S.A. Rios, and that's kind of like one of those moments like, okay, we're probably not gonna do nothing with S.A. He's probably gonna hit his stealing, but we got a lot of potential for her. And all of a sudden, they had the story where they saved him, and then all of a sudden you see them two get together, and it just looked like so genuine. It was the typical, okay, the brother who likes the new, welcoming in the new sister. So that felt fine. And then also, like, it was real. They didn't overdo it. Because when you think about it, that was 2000, 99, 2000. And then all hell didn't break loose till like on air. Well, behind the scenes, probably like 04, 05, 05. But 05 is when it was on air. But I thought that when you talk about genuinely love, it felt like everybody was happy for Matt Hardy and Lita, because it just felt like, they just like, they so love. I remember people coming to school being happy about it.
I was one of them. I was people. I don't care what anyone says. I was people.
Because Matt was always my favorite.
Yeah, like I think secretly people were wowed by Jeff, but they were genuinely like happy for Matt. Like even Matt in life now, like his personal life. And it sucks the way I think that the one thing that ruined how everything ended personally was that like he was probably one of them boys like and it's funny because my friend actually explained it. When guys get hurt when they don't have a lot of relationships, they don't react to it well. So him probably, even if it was just a kiss, right? In his head, my heart's broken. Like I put my heart on the line. I thought I was gonna have this girl that I met her in the business. I was gonna have this love story. And we were gonna get married, and we would have babies. And I thought this was the one, but she like betrayed me. Like I said, even though it was just like a chemistry thing and it was a kiss, and it happened with my friend who I thought was like my brother and would have been my best
Mhm.
man and stuff. I just think he's somebody. She said it's weird because like homegrown people that don't have relationships often get hurt the most and they react in the most like
That's
extreme.
true.
His
And
reaction to the whole thing, looking back at it, was way too blown out of proportion. To the
he
point
went to
where
the internet. He fucking told
like
everybody that would listen.
he made a whole video about what happened, and it broke my heart because, like I said, I always knew people were always trying to two things. They were trying to pin Jeff and Lita together, which I was like, no, you can't have two psychopaths together. He likes to jump off the rafters. She likes to jump onto. She likes to hurricane ride at anybody in her way. It's not gonna work. It's not
They
gonna
couldn't
work.
jump on each other.
No, it wouldn't work. The only person
They
who
gotta
kind of
balance. You need balance.
yeah, she was a hot. She was treated like one of the guys, but she was like also an attractive woman. So for someone like Matt to be attracted to her and be romantic with her and like literally get the piss poor beaten out of him by Kane because he loved her so much, that was like, oh, it was kind of like the guy trying to save Rapunzel from the castle, but then there's like a pit of fire and a goblin witch that's gonna turn him in, that could kill him if he gets caught, like Sleeping Beauty almost. And then when everything kind of like happened backstage, it kind of ruined the aura for a lot of people. People started feeling bad for Matt because of how he set it up. And that's why you have such the extreme turn on Lita, because it was supposed to be like, Lita, you were supposed to be the one to like give him the babies, and like you were supposed to like kiss him in the Hall of Fame. He was supposed to thank you, and you were supposed to also get your Hall of Fame ring, and you were supposed to thank him, and you ruined our fantasy, which looking back at that again, low-key
So that's what it
creepy.
was.
Very foreshadowing, and Lita ruined that by being the typical girl. She wasn't supposed to be the girl that cheats on the man. She's supposed to be the girl that.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I feel like in the storytelling of the revisionist history of it all, they only villainize Lita to a certain extent. Even her, the direction of her character, like Edge was portrayed as a badass. Let's be real, by stealing Matt's bitch. That's how he was more marketed.
Keep in mind, he was the one that was actually married.
I always say that, but you notice WWE never mentions that in any of the documentaries and any of the. They never mention the fact that Edge was married, and because they villainize Lita instead of Edge, they make Edge. They made him look like he was a badass. His character went in a certain direction based on that. And we liked him more. They called him the rated R. Like, we liked him more, but yet Lita was literally, her legacy to a certain extent was a little bit tarnished because she was known as that, and then they OD sexualized her character. And that's, I feel like, when those type of storylines go wrong, or when you mix that shit, because and it just got way too, like Andre said, it got way too messy. You knew too much about it. But then with the wrestling business, is there such thing as going too far? Like, is that when you capture the magic? Because we're still talking about it.
And what bothers me is that what bothered me was it was something that should have died when Matt and Edge had that really extreme match where it was like a fake I quit, but really it was to send Matt somewhere else. It should have died with that. It kept fucking going, and it was almost like you think you've punished somebody enough. It almost felt like punishment, up to the point where she should have had, and it's sad to me because, and I think about it because I love Lita so much. She should have had what Trish had. She should have had the last match in Toronto. She should have won the belt. But the business chose otherwise. And it kind of like, looking back at it, I'm like, every time she comes back, I'm like, this is them kind of saying I'm sorry to her. Because one, it should have never went down the way it went down. We find out later that she chose for Mickie James to get the belt on her way out, which I think was the most selfless thing for her to do. But it was just
probably miserable at that point.
Yeah. But the whole JC thing in the box, and then like Triple H trying to call it like a give her the dollar, and I was just like, y'all all like this boys club mentality. Horrible. That's where I think storylines go too far. Like that whole boy line like mentality is too much. Like you don't need to, and then the fans following her to a car, threatening her, and all this stuff. I'm like, all right, like wild, just too much. Wild. That's why I think
that's the one thing.
Because remember,
about romance storylines,
Brian knows in the soap opera world, for example, when someone dies off the TV Your grandmama was devastated. Like, especially if it was somebody she loved. Like, I remember all my children when Greenlee had left. Like, Greenlee had left. It was somebody's daughter, and she was like, it was like Ryan and Greenlee were like the romantic couple. And then one day in one episode, Greenlee was like, I'm done with Ryan. She just left. People were pissed. They were writing ABC letters. You had these moms that stay home at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I will never watch ABC's All My Children.
Oh
and
my
writing letters. And back then,
gosh.
Cameron Monaghan literally looks at it and he's like, yeah, it was a lot. Our fans are crazy, but it was a typical day in the office for me. He's like, one person told me if I didn't go get this character back, they will blow up my car. And I was just like, okay, well, I know I'm acting.
Oh my god.
It was like
do take it very seriously.
Yeah.
Real quick, time check. It's 8:02. We watch AEW Dynamite as a family.
Yeah,
so get another device.
Blood and Guts.
We about to watch
It's
this. Blood and Guts tonight?
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's do it.
I want to.
That sounds interesting.
Shout out to Vin.
On one, yeah, you got Adam Page on one side and Swerve on the other. I want to see a redo.
Hey, Vin.
I don't watch Days of Our Lives. I'm a CBS young and invested person.
Listen,
my grandmother used to watch that. She watched all of them. She used to just tape them. So
only one I know that I used to follow a little bit was General Hospital.
Oh my god,
y'all remember Passions?
Imagine if Sonny and Carly.
I heard about Passions, never watched it, but it seemed like everybody in school watched that when it was like
it was
a day off.
Little ridiculous. Like it was more ridiculous than an old soap opera. So I think that's why kids watched it. It was,
it was more like a fairy tale soap opera.
Yeah, a lot of supernatural aspects to it.
Yes, so, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, but I mean, what is wrestling if not a long ass soap opera to a certain extent?
That's what I tell everybody.
Right, sis. What storylines do we think have gone too far?
Okay,
I know P was gonna mention one.
I have one that I didn't think it went too far personally, but my good sis Krista B, we talked about it a lot on our pod at the time because, of course, you know we love Naomi, we love Trinity, and Jimmy and Mandy Rose. That love triangle. Krista B hated it.
My bad.
You know, blah 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 blah. No, you can put some of it up, but do y'all remember it?
So what do you think? What will your wife?
Now, did you guys?
It was supposed to be muted.
Yo, you know what that reminds me of? Have you ever seen the movie Obsessed with Beyonce and Idris Elba and Ali Larter? That's what that reminds me of to a T.
So, and I don't want to be offensive to Mandy Rose, but two things. That didn't work for me because after watching Total Divas, we all know the black of the berry, the sweet juice for that man. The hell do you think he was fooling to think he was gonna leave his chocolate thunder and go for some whole white oat milk? It wasn't happening. He wasn't gonna go on a diet and drink oat milk all of a sudden.
At least you tried.
No.
I'm gonna say the thing I loved about this. Real quick, as we talk about AEW, I don't know if anybody believes, but I think MJF is probably about to reveal another belt, probably the Burberry version of the. What is he? The
okay. I thought you meant the international champion.
Yeah, he won that from. He won that last week. There's too many belts, but so the fun part about this was right. And I remember this is like we just getting into the 100th episodes of Break It Down with Brian H. It's like still in the infancy. And I remember doing the show with my guy from View from the Top Rope. And the thing he said was, if we're going to do this for the women, let's have, like, we're going to thirst over the women. We should have the men do stuff like let the women thirst over Finn Balor or somebody, put them in some steamy angles, because this had probably been one of the first that we had seen in a while. When you think about this time period, probably like, and I'm talking about like, yeah, we saw AJ Lee and Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, but the first, and even Eve Torres and Matt Hardy and John Cena, but this is the first time where you have
you talking about Zack Ryder?
Yeah, Zack Ryder. But this is like the first time we actually see like Mandy Rose taking off her robe and stuff. I loved it for the simple fact that it was a mere setup with Jay and Naomi, and that's the reason why it worked for me. Because, like you said, we watch Total Divas. We know they are a ball of love with each other. So we knew he's not leaving her. But the fact that Mandy was trying to come at him, and then he was like acting like he was considerate. So I love the fact that they did this because it showed that them two work together to outsmart Mandy, and that's the reason why it was perfect.
I forgot about that aspect of it. It wasn't. Yeah, they knew what was up.
Mm-hmm.
They knew what was up. I enjoyed it. I like soap operas too. Oh wait, do y'all remember this? And Vin, we're gonna touch on the HLA. What?
No, listen to me, because I've been dying to talk about it. If we not
Demon Belarusi, time the fuck out.
That's mad funny though. Oh my god,
so crazy. If we're not going to go into the commitment ceremony between Chuck and Billy, I don't want to have this.
Oh, let's get into it, because that was a romance storyline. Let's get into it.
That was the most cross-signaled romance storyline that SmackDown could ever do, and it was to literally make SmackDown the better show, like the more diverse show. Because let's be real, they really went there with that. And then one thing that I remember, wasn't like Devon Dudley in a pastor gimmick, and then they said he was gonna have the commitment ceremony or the friendship ceremony, and then they were already acting romantic with each other, but which Chuck Palumbo and Billy, they talk about it. And they're like, listen, we were just doing it because we were friends and we were having fun with it. But at the same time, like, listen, there's some gays that watch wrestling, child. Come on now. They're not watching it for that. Now we're watching it for the women, of course. But just think about the barrier they crossed by doing that on
that's true.
Not even cable. SmackDown was on prime time television on the on UPN.
And then and y'all, if y'all may remember, they even went so far that Glad thought it was a real story. Like they sent them a basket.
Wow.
Yeah, it was this 2000. It's like between 3 and 6. But yeah, Glad sent them a basket because they had, like you said, the wedding, the quote unquote 3-minute marriage, and then they like, wait, we're not gay. We just
we're best friends.
Yeah.
Like best friends, and then it pissed.
It's like Bert and Ernie. She thought it's like you know, but they're not gonna say it. You know what I'm saying? They just roommates.
It's on YouTube. Listen to the words they say, babes. They was getting married. I don't care what nobody say. If they hadn't stopped their own marriage from the words that they were saying to each other, the vows, the pledge they had to each other, they was getting married. I don't get that shit. And then it all turned to be a foul because Bischoff was a pastor and some good what's it, SFX? The makeup, plaster makeup. And he was like, somebody say 3 minutes. And then he bought out 3-minute, what's his name? That just power
3-minute warning. Well, the best one, you remember when they was doing he made it the American Championship?
He put American flag around the belt strap and the British flag on the plates.
But what was funny was when they had the little story with what's her name? Would they had like the double bikini contest with
you gotta specify they have multiple
swimsuit contests with Trish Stratus and Tori Wilson. No, Tori and Stacy Keibler. So it was like them two versus the other two. That's how far they would go with Billy and Chuck.
But they were tailor-made, honey. Look at them. They were a good-looking, tailor-made couple. They're the couple those are the neighbors you have when you go to what's that island in New York? When you go to City Island and they got the big house. They're the millionaire gay couple. There you go. In Palm Springs. There you go. That's what they would have been.
Why you gotta bring City Island into this?
Not even City Island. They would have been the good-looking couple in Palm Springs because that's where all the rich gay people live. They would have been that. They would have been my neighbors in Palm Springs with the $1 million house, invited me to pool to have some cocktails.
And it's going to be a good-ass time.
It's going to be a time. because they were
We
that
will have
tailored.
a time.
But that's
Nah,
chemistry.
you see them in the village.
That's chemistry.
Mhm.
That's another thing.
It was
And Brian,
good.
Shout-
Who was the wedding planner? I remember him being funny in that whole thing.
Oh, Rico. That was
Rico.
his name.
He was very, a little stereotypical, but
Because he was their
Do y'all
manager.
remember? Yes. So this is the one that I was gonna ask if I remember because it just popped into my head because I remember thinking it was funny. Lana and Rusev was in the middle of Lana Rusev Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Aiden English was the one that was with them that used to sing Rusev Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember when then they were teasing something going on with him and Lana? And there was like footage in a hotel room in Milwaukee or some shit. Do y'all remember that?
Vaguely. That's why.
yeah.
Oh, that's why The Rock said what he said about Milwaukee.
Yeah. He said everybody gets in trouble in
Yeah.
Milwaukee. Same thing with remember
It
when
was
John
funny.
Cena and AJ Lee was having a business dinner in the hotel, and she went back up to his hotel room to talk more business. That happened in Milwaukee. Fun fact.
See? Well,
that's
anybody
what
in
it
the
was in
chat
Monday.
that's from
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, what's up? Like, what's going on in Milwaukee that we need to know about?
We know what's going on in Milwaukee. Nothing, which is why they're getting so much trouble.
Cheese.
Put
Well, I
his
guess
face
that's
on
Wisconsin.
the American flag to replace the stars on the American flag. Is that what he just did? Is that what MJ?
So, yeah.
Yes, that's MJF's faces instead of the stars.
Never
is
changed.
so funny.
Yeah, never changed, baby. I swear to God,
So
that's
funny.
so hilarious. But
Dawn Marie and Al Wilson. Oh my God, was that Tori Wilson's father? That storyline? That's hilarious.
That was the first time I think we seen two women kiss on WWE TV.
Is there footage of this? Just for science.
It was definitely on like Raw or SmackDown.
Armageddon 2002.
Armageddon. Like the fact that you quoted it off is hilarious.
Shit, Brian's like, I have this bookmarked.
I can't do since I was doing my background research on the weirdest ones, and that was one of the weirdest ones. So if reflect my memory, if anybody in the comment section remembers, he died on his honeymoon night to Dawn Marie because they was about to get the smacking, clapping, and heart caved down on him, and he passed away on his honeymoon, and they had it all on camera. Then, because Tori Wilson was so mad at her daddy, she didn't talk to the daddy. She tried to stop the wedding, and also apparently broke his heart. So they had a whole funeral set up to where Dawn like said the most vile things to Tori. And they fought and broke the casket at the funeral. And what's her name broke a vase over the back on her back.
When wrestling story angles go too far.
That was the build to the match, wasn't it? That is the weirdest fucking build you could ever have. But that's Vince McMahon's, like, that's there. She was at the funeral. Homegirl looked toe up from and homeboy was naked. I can't.
Oh man. Also, there was that element of this storyline that made it seem like Tori was doing things that she didn't want to do. Like Dawn was kind of bullying her into a lot of this stuff. So I will say this was now looking back, a very risque romance angle.
I guess you don't love your father after all.
Huh?
She said, I guess you don't love your father after all. Every time she would try to leave the room.
Manipulative shit, yo.
She was like, you broke his heart. That's why he's laying in the casket. I'm like, what in the Young and the Restless is this?
But didn't Dawn Marie go ahead, Brian?
Go ahead.
Isn't Dawn Marie from ECW? Because they used to do a lot of that HLA and like those were regular storylines for them. Any night of the week.
Right. And what was crazy, the heart attack angle, because we saw that with Teddy Long when he was about to marry Crystal Marshall, which I hated that. I was like, that's when we referenced that earlier this year, I think, or maybe it's last year when Jeff Hardy was up there vibing out the Jagged Edge.
Back in the job rule.
Huh?
When he was taking out to
Right. And just as everything was like they was about to get married, then he has the heart attack. And I'm like, that was like, why do they feel the need to do the whole man? But I guess wrestling weddings can't happen. Remember when Vicky Guerrero and Edge was gonna get married? That's how we got the debut of Alicia Fox. Because she was the wedding planner.
She was a wedding. Yep.
Alicia Fox.
Yeah.
She was.
But then again, I love that Edge did that because it just made Vicky an even more deeper of a villain. Because like he was using his wife. He know damn well he was the ultimate opportunity. That was the build to the ultimate opportunist and made it last even longer because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I think about it, SmackDown was really the home of all the romantic relationships because you barely had them on Raw, more on SmackDown. Like remember when the first time remember when Dean Malenko was like obsessed with Lita?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and it was in the bedroom.
Yeah, I'm learning because I don't remember this.
I feel like this was during the time period where I wasn't watching.
No, this is when
Attitude Era.
Before this was Attitude Era. This was even before Matt and Lita became a thing. Because like Dean was like when he just came in WWE, they were the Rascals, and he was like supposed to be the ladies' man. He had ladies coming out to him in the ring.
Dean Malenko.
Yes,
wow, that was great casting there.
I vividly remember it because like probably reason number one why I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling because like literally the plan was he had like invited her to dinner and then it was a match. If Jeff Hardy had lost the match, Dean Malenko got to take her out, and Jeff Hardy lost the match because Perry Saturn cheated by knocking Matt out ringside, so they had to go out. And basically what had happened was they went out to dinner and Lita dressed it like he told her wear the sluttiest outfit and look like a lady and get your hair done and sent the car, and she was like playing into it and she was like, I want you, like you got a hotel room. I caved in. And then Lita wore the skankiest, mind you, wore the skankiest lingerie that you ever seen on Lita. It was the first time I ever seen because Lita was one of the boys, like I said, that's when the boys really wanted Lita. Because she put on like I'm about to get knocked up lingerie on. Like Friedrich's a Hollywood lingerie. Stuff that Trish Stratus was wearing on a regular basis. And they had closed the lights, and you open the lights, and it's Jeff and Matt waiting to beat the shit out of Dean Malenko. And they did that. But then Dean Malenko got pissed and like force kissed her. And Matt went in to have that. Yeah, she ate all his food. She was in like she ate all yo. You ever seen that scene in White Chicks where he's trying to have bad breath, so he starts eating the food? And
I remember this. Okay. I just needed a visual.
And Lita was like not into him, but Lita was like, "Listen, I just want to get rid of you, so we're gonna set you up." And she set him up. And then Dean Malenko was like, "I try to be nice to you," but he force kissed her. And then they had to drop the ball because they made that's when they made Lita and Jeff that's when they made Lita and Matt a thing. They let them be their relationship be real on camera. Because I think around that time, Matt and Lita started dating for real.
Yeah, that was so they was together. It was like you said, because then that's when you kind of saw it in Matt's eyes. And then it was literally probably like a couple of weeks later where they revealed it on TV.
Is Matt Hardy gonna have to choke a bitch?
Yo, but remember he almost feuded with his brother over that too. Like when he was feuding with his brother and he made Lita was like, I'm not taking no sides. Y'all are beefing. This is a brotherly thing. And then Matt was like, oh, you don't want to take no sides? Then you can be our special guest referee.
This is all coming back to
the
me.
night Jericho won the title.
Yes.
Because and that was when Jeff Hardy was like feeling himself. And Matt told him like, Jeff, climb down at Survivor Series to merge the WCW and WWF tag titles. And Jeff hit the swanton because he won that big moment, that big pop. And then next thing you know, and then he made Lita choose, and she got caught in between. That was the first time where they like tried to make Matt Hardy a heel.
Right.
Nobody wants to boo Matt Hardy, but this was funny that Perry Saturn and Moxley. I remember that so vividly as a kid. They didn't know what to do with these wrestlers that came over from WCW at first. Good thing Chris Jericho had personality.
That's what it is, though. You hit it right on the head, though. Personality. The only one was, Eddie Guerrero. He came in with personality because he actually had it over there. It's Eddie Mamacita.
True. Yeah, let's get into it. I was waiting to bring it up, but we talk about China a lot, so I wanted to give it some space. But China and Eddie, that is what we all rooted for. We were all into it. They kind of allude to it with RHEA and Dom too. But what do y'all remember about this growing up?
They never kissed.
Right. And
Because I was waiting.
It was the first time in a long time.
They never did?
No.
I never thought about that.
No. It was the first time you've seen a male be a valet for a female wrestler.
Yep.
For me.
That
was
the
first time. In a sea of women walking out with the men, he like carried her flowers. At one point when she won the belt, he had carried her belt and was like pointed to it and said it was hers on SmackDown. I was like, that's pretty dope.
Yeah,
it made me look at China in a new light. Not gonna lie, because when you look at DX and like she's the muscle to Triple H, and then you have this story with Eddie, it's like, now I can see more of like I can rock with this version of China. I know a lot of people didn't like the feminine side of China; they wanted China to be badass, but this was a storyline that really like you making me look at China in a new light, and especially I was an Eddie guy, so I'm like, and you see Eddie just putting like his all into this. And it's reflecting on screen. It was like, yo, this is why it lasts so long and it hits so hard.
Sure. It was a nice like build up because, like you said, she was kind of like rejecting him at first, and then like you started seeing like later on, where she was like giving him the seductive eyes. So me being at the age where you getting older, I'm sitting there like, okay, China, and before she was like nah. But to me, like when she got the facelift and she was with the corporation, you started seeing her show a little bit more sexy side, but she was still like rough. But this right here, it felt like it pivoted, and then you saw Eddie treat her gently, like he treated her like this crown jewel that nobody else did.
We kind of needed that, I think, for China's aura, because she was the muscle. There were even kind of jokes that she might not have been born a woman, those type of vibes. So having her in this angle, having Eddie treat her, and she was in her soft girl era for a second.
And we ain't know what the word was. I remember this don't get me kicked out of the club, but I remember when the magazine came out and one of my friends bought it and snuck it into school. And during lunch break, you can imagine like what you just alluded to. You can imagine what the first thing everybody did was, and I was on China, and he was like, look, and it just, you saw the soft girl era, and she was, I think that's when the magazine had actually, she had been done with that story, but like this was like probably what sold Playboy. It was like, okay, we want China. We done seen this side, you can see like the bottom left pictures when she like it's like she's finally in the Eddie Guerrero, and she, I remember that scene where she said, if we win the titles, you won't, you'll be getting lucky tonight, but
she was like, I love my Latino heat, and I was like, girl, he been trying.
Right.
And then even with the bottom right was when they went to prom, because Eddie didn't go to his prom. He got the GED. I don't know if that's real or that was the story, but they like, okay, you're gonna be his prom date. So they got very creative, and I love how they
did. And they had to wrestle, like come back and wrestle, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He came in the car right with the outfit, and he won the European. He defended the European title against S.A. Rios.
Right.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one, and it had a purpose. Like it was like, we need to get these two over. We need to show their personalities. We need to show that China is a feminine, beautiful, sexy woman, and it hit on all cylinders. So it makes you appreciate it. Can I bring up I guess we'll do a funny one real quick, because I want to talk about another Attitude Era romance storyline. So Mark Henry's A&E doc, watch it like yesterday. It is so good.
Yeah.
It is so good. It is so inspiring. I didn't know that much about Mark Henry because I just didn't. And just being able to hear this side of his story was amazing. But
he was
that Mae Young shit, hilarious.
Yo.
Can I ask one important question? Has anybody checked on their hand, Love Child? Where's Love Child? Has anybody checked on him?
Hand made an appearance at one of them Raw
up,
anniversaries.
like on a yeah. I think Raw 25.
Did the hand have hands? Did he have little hands? Did he have a hand with a leg?
I don't know if I don't know if he's had a family, started a family yet, but I'm sure we'll get an update soon from him. You know,
who is that
he's
for?
Somebody that we'll never forget.
Who is that for? Listen,
what you mean?
Who
would be enjoying that?
Who's enjoying that? I did.
Did y'all remember Molly Holly and Spike Dudley?
Oh my god!
And how it almost broke up the Dudleys and the Holly cousins. That was fun. That was fun. It made sense. It was like from different families. Y'all not supposed to love each other, but like, what's up?
Mm-hmm.
That was so cute. I'm sorry. It was so adorable. I thought it was just so cute. Like they were like, mind you, all the same fucking height. Didn't realize that till later in life. But like that was so adorable. But Spike Dudley used to just get the worst of it. Like he used to mollywop that poor guy.
Bumps he used to take were wild.
Mm-hmm.
Mollywop. That is 100% true.
I'm trying to
Were y'all into Melina and Johnny Nitro?
No, because after it was one of those things. It was just like, yeah, you know. By then I was over. I was sort of over him. No, not yet. No, it was weird when Batista got involved. Because then it was like this is when I'm like starting to hear like more internet rumors. So then I'm hearing like,
how did he fit into that?
I think the rumors was that she was cheating on him. And, and Val Venus, when he vented on behalf of Trish Stratus after if you remember when was it WrestleMania 27 when Nitro like stiffed Trish because he was mad that he wanted Melina to have a spot with him and Snooki. And Val Venus goes, this is like the early days of YouTube, and he goes on there and he rants and said, everybody knew, the boys all knew you were she was sleeping with you, and then Batista slept with her and gave her back to you, and you was just walking around like, oh, it's all right.
Yeah, he basically accused him of doing what Sonny and Sean, the whole Sean scenario with what's his name? Basically
embarrassing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that Jamie Noble and Nydia stuff was pure grass entertainment.
It was.
That was pure grass entertainment. Like they were trailer. What were they? They were like trailer park trash, and then they were like she would help him. And then at one point, he had like one money. He had one money, and he got her like a nice fur coat, but then he was tired of being with her, and he was cheating on her, and she got blinded by the green mist. Mind you, also that's another thing. Why do all these on-screen relationships end in cheating?
That's a good point.
You know why?
Cheating.
You know why? Because the man in charge, what do you think he was doing?
Listen, Mr. Redacted.
I guess you got to figure out
reference.
How do you get over it? You know, how do you?
But then again, it's like think of like a lot of the movies in like the 90s and 2000s. Like a lot of that shit was like cheating.
Yeah,
being like the number one reason. So it kind of also makes sense where it's like if you're really going off the entertainment, yes, there's other ways where you could break up without cheating, but that's the easiest way for a crowd to be like, you cheated, then we hate you.
No one ever walked away and was like, that's it, it's over. Like even Stephanie and Triple H, when their first fallout happened, like he like dogged her on TV. I don't know if you remember what he was saying.
Because she was pregnant.
Yeah.
And then she claimed she lost it. I think she lied about it. That's what it was.
She lied about being pregnant.
Yeah.
That is so wild.
So,
you know which angles I like that lead to something like what you were talking about Brian is like Trish, Chris Jericho, and Christian. Like that led to a match that had a great payoff. It had a good, it made sense. And then also like Trish ended up being the one that was like, was that her heel turn?
Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of technically.
Mm-hmm.
See, so it like led to something. I think it aged well.
And the making out was just like the exclamation point on that.
Right.
Yeah, that was wild.
It wasn't like a side thing. Like, oh, it was like, no, I am turning heel. I did fuck you over, and on top of that, boom.
Because it doesn't. Because it was Chris Jericho on top of that. Speaking of, he's getting choked out by the King himself.
By Murder King.
Yeah, by the Murder King.
Oh,
but because it was Jericho, like when was Jericho involved in a romantic storyline? He was the one who like was jeering the women. Let's be real. So him to be involved in a romantic storyline, somebody liked him, and it was like, oh, okay, like somebody's attracted to Chris Jericho too, and it was like, no. Nope.
That's why I came up with his list. Like, you motherfuckers.
They was like, psych.
Yeah, you know what happens? You know what happens when you spurn Chris Jericho? Huh?
God dang, Justin.
Hey, with your whole chest.
It makes sense though.
It does. I'm trying to think what other ones. I mean, can we get into the AJ? That was my favorite. I'm sorry. If we're going to talk about life imitating art, if you're going to talk about life imitating art, and this one I say like chemistry works because like I think because I always talk about how much more appreciation I have for her in her book, because there were things they were trying to pitch to her that she said no to before that, and she said it kind of felt like a punishment. They kept her off the TV for some months because they want her to play like full blown bipolar crazy, and she said no because they were making fun of mental health, and they kept her off of TV. So when they did put her back on TV, this was kind of like her moment. The whole thing with her and Daniel Bryan was kind of like the moment she would have had. Like, listen, if I say no to this, this might be it for me, and I still want to do this. So she said everybody was cool about it. It came on All Works, and then they started involving Punk, and then she got mulled over by the Big Show, and they started involving Punk again. And then they involved Kane, and then she made a joke. She was like, I have to kiss this person and then kiss this person, and I had to jump on Kane and kiss him. And she was like, then they told her about the kiss in Texas that she had to do between Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. And she was like, oh, so I'm gonna kiss them like one day and then kiss this person the next day. And the writers were like, no, you're gonna kiss both of them at the same time. And she was like, okay, mono. Thanks. Your turn. And she says that the kiss she had with Punk was the best kiss she ever had, but
it shows because she was like, nah, we gonna do this.
But Punk was with Lita at the time, so
really
looked in her eyes. What did I see?
Because if you were in the Tumblr days, Lita had followed that man throughout his entire championship reign, and that includes after the WrestleMania that he beat Jericho. They were back together. So and Glenn was married, and Brian was with Brie, so they had to cut that out because people found that out later on. So I'm like, if you was with somebody when you was kissing, y'all can be friends. So tell me to match.
Sometimes your friends gotta be friends. We could be friends, and then you kiss, and then it's more than friends.
And then you like, we can't be friends.
How many of us have been?
Listen, life imitate art. They're a cute couple to the point where now I want AJ back. Like, Punk, I done had enough of you. Tell your wife to bring him.
No,
God has a plan, and sometimes that plan is a little messy.
I ordered that comic book, by the way, but yeah, when your wife ready to just to have her in the audience to swing Drew over the head with a chair. That's all, Pow. She know how to do it. She's been around here. Oh yeah, Punk. Oh my God.
Round and round he goes.
Anybody ever think that him and Kelly had something going on too in the early ECW days?
I heard the list is long. Let's put it that way.
Same with Dolph Ziggler.
Hello. Oh my God.
But I'm not surprised about Ziggler. I'm a little surprised at Punk's resume.
Really? I'm not. I am not. He's like the hot, smart, alternative guy. He got tattoo. At one point he was different than other wrestlers. So you're just
lost me at hot.
It was the appearance.
that's your preference, but the girls was feeling him.
You know what it is? Ziggler is like the pretty boy and Punk is the bad boy. And the girls gravitate to the bad boys. Especially when they're young and they're in their phases where it's like, yeah, give me
or alternative, I would say. Because like straight edge, are you really like a bad boy? No shade, no tea.
But you know what though? Punk had that appeal to where it was like all these guys that are going by the grain, and he's like, no, fuck you, I'll do what I want. That turns women on. Like you weren't like
he's a rebel. There you go. He's a rebel.
Rebel,
like,
yes.
There's girls that love them some Moxley, child. There was some people choosing him over Roman and Seth at some point. So I wouldn't, you know. What do we think of? Also, we talk about life imitating art. I never knew the Miz. Oh yeah, King got some too.
On TV.
Yo, he was. Everybody
with his burnt ass face. He got around.
Yes,
he had all the kisses.
Torby, yeah, with Torby, with Lita.
Nah, you know what it is with Kane? Because Kane is like 6'5", big. Yep. He's like big, tall, and strong, and women love like tall guys.
They do.
So there you go. Kane is like he's 6'3" and up. He checks the box.
Yeah, and he was the silent type. He didn't talk at one point, so you could just be like, "What's under the mask? I don't know."
Yeah, he also breathes fire.
You know what's under that mask? Despair.
Yeah, he also breathes fire.
His crispy little pal.
It's like if it's crispy up there, it's probably crispy down there.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's gotta be Kane. Where's the rest of Kane?
They did kick the baby off TV. That really got crazy, yo. Is that how that other guy got famous and why they was? Oh yes. Yeah. Even I don't even know if I was watching at the time, but I remember that.
Snitsky, yo.
Imagine you like go to wrestling school for like a decade and shit, and then you go to WWE, and then that's like your legacy.
But listen, and then on top of that, like he's on TV. At one point, he had two sisters beefing over him. Like Nikki and Brie were putting this thing like in the middle of him because he was like, and he was a dork. Remember, Jericho had like dorked him out, and Miz called him a dork. But then he pulls two baddie ass twins.
Dork
like, so
is wild.
Come on. Even dorks get played in WWE and in real life because I know some guys.
I mean,
I remember
maybe a dork, but that dork can put you on like 1,000 fucking finishing moves and put you to sleep. So I don't think he's really a dork if he could do that.
Hello, somebody.
I just finished Dexter, and that man was getting pussy, and that man was a serial killer, and he looked like a prototypical dork. And it's like, yeah, don't sleep on him.
There's something hot about Dexter, though.
Outside of WWE,
I got one for you real quick.
Go ahead.
Viscera, big Viscera. The world's largest love machine.
Yes.
It was Lily Garcia.
I'm sorry, what?
With Lily Garcia.
The world's largest love machine?
Yeah.
Google it, Patricia. It is the
so
weirdest
Is that trademark? Otherwise, I'm taking that shit.
That is hilarious.
So, I think you can get it, right?
Google it. I'm
gonna have to check this on the 9 to 5. Be like, is this trademark? No, I'm taking that shit.
Andre's like, yes.
Like, I'm using it.
Yeah,
Fuck 6'3". Have you ever had thick?
He went on a date with Trish Stratus, and Viscera was a Big Daddy V. Yep.
Big Daddy V. That's how I knew of him. Now that I think about it, I didn't know about the other ones until like Big a little like.
Wait, so you didn't like pay attention when he was in the Ministry of Darkness?
Not as much.
Okay. I mean,
somebody really put Boogeyman in
the bowl. You wild for that. Boogeyman in the bowl. That's funny as hell.
Wow.
I mean, it was a thing at one point. Like,
how was that a thing? What, Boogeyman's an eater? How do you make that a thing?
He ate it off her face. He ate it off of Julian's face. He was into Julian's mold. I didn't realize that she had like this big roll. Okay, can we get into the fact that
Boogeyman eating things off of humans?
Can we get into the fact that Jeff Jarrett basically like Angle and his wife literally put TNA through the longest running storyline ever, and it still culminated into Jeff Jarrett playing Mr. Steal Your Girl and marrying Kurt Angle's wife.
Legit though.
See that needed shit.
So uncomfortable.
It was highly uncomfortable, but it gave them ratings. Let's be real.
It's one of those things, right? Because it's unfair, but because like you listen to like it still sounded like Kurt Angle wasn't being a good dad, right? And I don't know if Jeff
Mhm.
Jarrett was married. You would know better. But if Kurt Angle, he wasn't being a good dad. They was probably breaking up anyway. It's just waiting to happen. And then for them two to get together, but then to make a freaking angle out of it. Like,
see, that's the thing.
And their whole like they were like already on the like because Kurt Angle talks about it. He was already having a hard time with his marriage, and then they had asked her to be involved, and they had to play all this stuff on TV, and they had like long divorce, and then they still had to pretend to remarry and get back together on TV, and then later on, like she starts getting close to Jeff Jarrett, and so
That's
they put
right.
that
His
on
wife
TV
did that.
too. Like, what the freak of nature is going on here? Like,
You
and
really want
then
to fuck with Perk Angle of all people?
Perk
Child.
Angle.
Yeah, you ain't heard. You ain't seen the Legend of Perk Angle, P?
with the black
Yes,
with the black
I
mouth
have.
guard.
Oh my god, that made me stare at you like, I want to kill. I want to flip.
Target.
I want to jump off things. Yeah.
Target. Jeff Jarrett. Target.
That man was a
What
human
was the
Terminator.
best romance. Yeah. What was the best romance themed storyline in wrestling?
Stephanie and Triple H.
Yeah.
But state your case, but no.
It really depends on how you look at it, but yeah, state your case, Brian.
It solidified Triple H to this for me. It solidified Triple H as a authority figure. It turned Stephanie McMahon sexy, and it became a real life story. Huh?
She wasn't that little girl no more.
She wasn't, and unfortunately, I mean, you know, and I'm trying to be respectful to China, but this is one of those things again. Like, we don't know. We wasn't there. They could have been breaking up anyway. You know, it's obviously it's easy to say, oh, he was cheating, whatever. Maybe they was done. They just both of them didn't know it yet. So, you know, the business moved forward because of that in a lot of ways. You know, we got authority figures. We got Seth Rollins made from that. We got a Dolph Ziggler moment from that. We got the unification of the titles where we had another great John Cena and Randy Orton story angle. I mean, it's one of those romantic storylines that's, you know, it took us it fed people for generations. Even they would go away, come back, go away, come back.
It may have fed people. It may have gave them meat, but was it the right tenderized meat? No. And even then, it started on shaky ground that carried over. So it's even like, yeah, it kind of fucked China up to where, like, to this day, it's still like we love Steph and Trips. That's still a fucking asterisk that we don't want to go to, but we kind of do. And they didn't get the people really moving. Like, when you think of Macho Man and Elizabeth, that had grown-ass men, women, and children crying. I remember WrestleMania 7, watch party, in the projects, watching people cry over that shit. And then a year later, when you have Macho Man and Ric Flair, WrestleMania 8, and you're interjecting Ric Flair into their shit. Does he have the naked pictures of Elizabeth? Does he not?
I had her first.
Here comes Elizabeth coming down ringside to be like, nah.
That might be one of my favorite romance storylines that I think about it because because it was so good and funny, and it was so on brand for every character. Like Ric Flair would be, like it might just have happened back in the day because Ric Flair got all the bitches back in the day. Like maybe that happened. Also, this is ahead of its time. Like I have Photoshop allegations. Basically,
yep, yeah. We got the pictures. We got the pictures.
Photos.
You want to talk about feeding generations? Who comes down to stop Elizabeth? One of the people, young Shane McMahon. There's one of your feeding for generations.
Wow.
On top of, if you want to go further back, this all starts with the fucking mega powers exploding. Why? Elizabeth. So this is now multiple year storyline involving Elizabeth in a main event angle. Yes, I'm counting WrestleMania 8 as a main event angle because that shit that closed the show should not have closed the fucking show.
Right.
Macho Man and Ric Flair for the title with the Elizabeth stuff. And it made sense then too. It wasn't just like sexualized. Yes, you have Heenan being an asshole on commentary. And then once Elizabeth comes down, then you see Rick hemming it up. But they actually made Elizabeth kind of thing. Sort of like with the WrestleMania 7 match where like all of a sudden you see Elizabeth in the crowd and it's like, yo, she's really concerned. Macho King may actually lose this. He may actually be forced to retire. Sherry's being an asshole ringside. Now I gotta hop this barricade and interject. That's the Macho Man and Elizabeth, man. They got married at SummerSlam.
Is that the OG romance storyline? Is that like the OG one? Like maybe one of the first?
That's definitely Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also, that's definitely definitely one of the first. The next probably Dusty and Sweet Sapphire.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
If you want to put Trips and Steph up there, I can't get mad at that because Brian makes a good case where it's like that's decades worth of authority stuff involving them too.
Yeah, that's true.
Even the Miracle on Bourbon Street, the first match with Brian and Triple H, that's Hunter and Stephanie getting involved and getting Brian over to where like we want to see you win, not just because we want to see you in this main event. You need to beat Triple H's ass, and Steph's getting on our fucking nerves.
Mm-hmm.
But we was tuned in and invested. Wait. Hold on. What?
Somebody put.
All right. Can I think of any other romantic storylines? That
was more.
Was a spicy one.
That
but
was more
a great payoff.
Yeah, David Flair and Kimberly Page.
Ooh.
But I think
that didn't seem realistic to me. Like when
I knew I would never fuck with Bubba Ray Dudley. Bubba Ray Dudley really went after Hulk Hogan's daughter, and then said, "I set you up, and not only did I set you up, I porked your kid." And that was the lead up to that year's Slammiversary. Does nobody remember that in TNA? That was like one of the most longest builds, and it's like one of the first longest builds TNA's ever had. And I was like, did he really just say, "Hey, by the way, I had your daughter that night, and we went on bounds while Brooke is standing in the ring crying on her daddy's shoulder"? I was like, no, Bubba Ray did not. And people were starting to love Bubba Ray for that when that happened. And I was like, no, I felt bamboozled.
I mean, if this was the TNA days, and that was probably when Brooke was actually a thing.
Brooke was a very people liked her. People liked her. And then the other storyline was that they was trying to say that Dixie Carter and AJ Styles was having a thing because they was in the elevator together. And it was around the same time that AJ Lee storyline was happening. And AJ Styles goes, "It seems like you always got something wrong in the elevator when your name is AJ." I said, "I'm dead." I said, "Why they do that?" I said, I'm finished.
Hey, man, he wanted to give her that phenomenal forearm.
I forgot about the AJ storyline.
It was a lot. Like TNA didn't do much romantic storyline because the biggest thing to come out of all of that was Kurt and Kara Jarrett and Jeff Jarrett. That was why, because they put us on a string, child. They put us on a string.
No, that's definitely true.
I don't know if I'm ready to put Tony Storm and Mariah May in that yet.
Yeah, it's still got that because we still got to see where it's going.
If we were talking about the greatest backstabbing moments, probably, like the most shocking turns, and that's a good
conversation. I know everyone's going to bring up Seth and the Shield as like number one, but there's been others. Well, and then Sean doing Marty at the barbershop.
Yeah, and then Nikki turned on her own sister.
See, that one I don't put up there because of the fact of they retconned that like weeks later. Whereas like, oh, I'm ready. I'm here for like. I remember I was watching Total Divas at the time. I was here for a Nikki and Brie feud, and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? Nah, we don't want to see you feud anymore. Let's put you back together. And it's like, what the fuck? Like she said, I wish you died in the womb. How are we now back to Bella twins? We good? Twin magic? Like.
Well, when you watch their A&E documentary, it was actually supposed to go longer than that. Like, it was supposed to comb past even her taking the belt from AJ because they knew Nikki was going to win, and her and AJ had planned that big, like, they were going to get 15 minutes and they had planned the match. She talks about it. I think Nikki talks about it, and she was saying her and AJ had actually, like, combed over the plan or whatever, and they were supposed to have, like, this big 15-minute match, and then, like, they came back and told them, "Oh, you only got 5 minutes." and then because one of the matches went over longer, which if I'm correct in my mind, nobody wanted to see fucking Adam Rose and a fucking bunny wrestle. So I don't know why they thought that was more important. And then they said they actually came back to them like moments before the match and was like, can you actually do it in under a minute? So they came up with the kiss of death thing, and it had to be, they basically had cut the whole storyline short when they cut that match short. So that betrayal thing was supposed to be longer. Like Brie was, it could have even went up to Brie going up against her sister for the championship, but they cut everything short. They cut everything short. So that's not on them.
God damn it, he should not be named.
That's
OWO coming in from Threads.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Welcome.
Yep.
I always wonder about Threads, but that might be the place to be right now for wrestling fans.
I think Dom is turning on RHEA.
It's coming. I don't know if it's happening at Summers.
But
I don't think so either.
I'm confident, but I don't think it's 100% he's doing it at SummerSlam. But it's coming though.
But I think Finn is going to turn on. Finn and Liv going to have something. So it's like Dom going to like leave.
That's this one's theory.
And then all of a sudden, like, nah, buddy, you said all that shit. And the whole time she was planning to be with him anyway.
My thing is, I personally think that Damian Priest, I think this is Damian and Rhea's way out of the Judgment Day. I think the Judgment Day isn't going to go past probably Bash of Berlin.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's not going to go past that. I think if it is, it'd be Rhea leaving and Liv possibly trying to take her place. In a whole now I really have everything that you want. I have your belt, I have your faction. Priest is probably gonna be like, I ain't in on this shit. Drop me the fuck out. I've been world champ. I'll see y'all later. But
the rest like, of it, deuces, wepa.
But as far as like, it would literally, this revenge tour can't just wrap up with her losing the belt. This revenge tour has to have her take everything. And when we say everything is, I'm now the head mommy of the Judgment Day.
Sorry, I'm making a face because guess who's came out on AEW is the GOAT! CEO. Oh shit! It's Cowboy Money.
I love it.
Bucket. She look good with 2 belts. She look like she need a 3rd.
I like
belt.
how she wears 2 belts.
Me too.
My girl needs another belt for the other arm. How about TNA?
Uh-oh. No, whoa! Camilla's there.
Oh shit! Wow.
She got a heater.
Good for her. I'm loving this. She was the NWA Women's Champion. And I think she might have tried out for WWE or something like to that effect, or said she didn't want to go there or something.
She didn't want to go there. She chose to go to AEW. Because they both brands wanted her, and she chose to go a while ago.
Yeah, this is actually really dope. I'm really into this.
Don't do that. Don't do Wreck Attack. No.
This is perfect. This is great. I love this.
I love this presentation outside of her jumping around with Britt on her shoulders. I just think Wreck Attack and like, no, that's how Nikki's neck got fucked up. Don't do that.
Wow, Mercedes looks fucking good.
That's how she got the belt in NWA. This is amazing.
This ain't Texas.
I love it. She got the Trish Stratus boots. She got the Trish Stratus boots on.
See?
And now she has
y'all
a strong
wanted that
arm.
woman back in WWE, and I said, let her do her victory tour around so she can do some things.
That.
I'm living.
All right. Well, this was a really, really good time talking about and looking back on these wrestling romantic storylines, because they always are going to have a place in wrestling, whether we like it or not.
I'm glad we got the bad shenanigan romances out of the way first, and then ended on like better notes.
Right. Exactly. Because they do work and they're fun. and I'm gonna tune in. That freaking soap opera effect. I have to see what's gonna happen next. I want to know how Liv Morgan is gonna respond. And the dope part I just realized is we have social media now, so Liv could post something to move the storyline along and just mix it up and make it fun. So I love it, and I'm sure there's a lot that we haven't touched on. So we in the fan club, we're always willing to do a part 2 in the future, because you can't mention every romantic storyline that happened in all of wrestling. I do want to shout out all of the new VIP members in the fan club this week that's joining us from YouTube, Twitch, X, Facebook. We love all of the engagement tonight. Thank you so much. The Wrestling Fan Club is exactly what it is. It's a wrestling fan club, and we are here on the stream, but it really is about our collective love of wrestling and going back and talking about all these things and our thoughts. We got to look back. We got to talk about SummerSlam. We got to talk about probably one of the hottest angles in the industry at the moment. We got to see Mercedes Moné as a family. And yeah, and just thinking about these storylines, Netflix is going to be, WWE on Netflix. I can't wait. Because if they have the ability to, they have the ability to go there. So imagine when they don't have any shackles. Is gonna get real. So welcome. We are here every Wednesday for TWG Fan Club, me and these wonderful humans. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, TWG is streaming 4 to 5 nights a week. You can find Justin Rich on Turnbuckle Talk on Tuesdays, and True Hill. He'll do his plug, but we are everywhere talking about wrestling. I will be in Cleveland with my good sis Krista B. TWG will be making tons of content, so make sure you're subscribed everywhere. Make sure you're following us. Support our Patreon. It's $1 a month. You can catch me Monday nights before Raw talking about where WWE meets pop culture. We had a really good time Monday night, so I'm very excited to kiki with y'all on Monday. But where can everyone find my crew?
You can find me on all social media platforms at It's Justin Rich. You can find me here Wednesday nights live on Those Wrestling Girls Twitch channel for TWG Fan Club. Myself, these 3 beautiful, amazing, intelligent, awesome co-hosts of mine. You can catch me Tuesday nights, Twitter Spaces on Black Wrestling's handle for Turnbuckle Talk, aka The Buckle. Myself, Mimi, and Corey, we talk all things wrestling. You can catch me from time to time on True Hill Heat Sports and True Hill Heat Wrestling, both those channels located on YouTube, where we talk sports, wrestling, House of the Dragon, all that fun stuff. We here, we outside, we active. Salute to good romance stories in wrestling.
You can find me at Brian H. Waters on all social media platforms. Go to TikTok. I put out videos, but also Threads, Instagram, X, and make sure you check out this week's episode of Ring of Wrestling Worldwide, where we discuss: is it necessary for Seth Rollins to be in the first match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre? And tonight, I saw the title for the Wrestling Realm, and it says, "Is WWE too hot for TV?" So there might be an episode you might want to tune into.
Spicy.
And per usual, it is your honorary wrestling girl, Seindole B, when I'm not here every Wednesday with the 3 best friends that anybody can have. You can catch me on Tuesdays with Watch What Happens NXT. This past Tuesday, me and the guy over here to my left had a whole bunch of shenanigans going on because we did a live watch party. We prepped ourselves for the Great American Bash 2-nighter. We talked about how the Rascals being back actually put a bit of a pep in Wesley's step in the right direction. We talked about how there were enough Canadian destroyers to make us Miss Canadian Destroyers for the rest of the year. And so I want to thank Mr. It's Justin Rich for being on last night. Salute. And I have just dropped the first rating for the 5 in 5, which is a Watch What Happens Instagram exclusive. I will be rating all moments. We're talking about moments, PLEs, matches, promos, and everything that has happened on NXT in the past few months. We are going to be rating them on Instagram. So give a like and subscribe to Watch What Happens NXT on Instagram. Tune in to Watch What Happens NXT every Tuesday. Tune into every single motherfucking thing TWG Network has going on, because we're going up. We're going up like the boner that Ric Flair probably has. He sees people having romantic influence with each other, because you know he was styling and profiling and doing all those things. So it's up like a storyline, like a romantic storyline.
It is up like a romantic storyline. Thank you all for tuning in. We love our VIP. We will see you all next Wednesday in the fan club. Love you. Westside Gunn, and we talk about these celebrities that are huge wrestling fans. Westside Gunn is probably the biggest wrestling fan in hip hop. I have to say that now, because he literally put wrestling on his back. So Heels Have Eyes. So Heels Have Eyes 2 will be in Cleveland. And the tagline on Instagram is "For the love of wrestling through the lens of art, fashion, and music." Everything that we love all wrapped in one. You guys remember this wet tank that Liv Morgan was wearing last week on Raw? Looked like a wet white beater with like her bra on the bottom. It's actually a custom-made structured garment. By Starcat. Okay, pause. Look at this suit in that deep purple. And these are one of those occasions where like the whole look works, because even I feel like the beard even goes with the look. Like